Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters. I'm your host, Mitch. Glad to have you here. Here at the Commander's Quarters, we're all about Commander on a budget. Today we have an episode of Commander's 2 Cents. On episodes like these, I give you my own personal take on topics about the format in general and current news. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. And while you're at it, subscribe and review our podcast as well. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support. Hey everyone, Mitch here in the Commander's Quarters studio, and today's topic is going to be the best combo cards in Commander. Now, okay, by best, I don't necessarily mean like extremely competitive combo cards. What I mean is basically these cards combo with a ton of things. They give you a lot of combo options. They give you a lot of ways to combo with them, potentially. So I'm going to give you the card, which is very comboable. I don't know if that's a word or not, but it'll be for today, okay? So it's a comboable card, and then I will give you some cards that combo with it, and I'll talk about kind of, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, I'll do that, okay? So I'm going to go through cards one at a time, talk about some cards that combo with it, and let's jump into it. So first up, we've got Deadeye Navigator. Deadeye Navigator is a 5/5 spirit with Soul Bond, and it costs 4 blue. It says as long as Deadeye Navigator is paired with another creature, each of those creatures has pay 1 and a blue. Exile this creature, then return to the battlefield under your control. So this one basically is a free repeatable blink spell for just 2 mana, which is pretty absurd, and it combos with quite a few things. First off, if you've got kind of any kind of a mana dork that taps for more than, 2 mana, or basically more than 2 mana, and you've got a way to give it haste, or, something in the battlefield that gives it haste, then you've got infinite ETBs. That, it's not that complicated, but the easier approach for this one, and in the same color, is going to be Peregrine Drake. Peregrine Drake is a 2/3 Drake with flying that costs 4 and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, you untap up to 5 lands. So, basically, you're tapping 2 mana, you're blinking your Peregrine Drake. It comes back down, you untap your 5 lands. Okay, cool. Now you've got 3 extra mana. You do the same thing over and over again. You're basically gaining 3 mana every single time. Infinite mana, infinite ETBs. You can then use that infinite mana to blink another creature that you might have an ETB for. Can maybe draw your entire deck, and then you can just cast all your things. There are a couple other creatures that combo with Deadeye Navigator in the same way, but they are a lot more expensive. But Peregrine Drake is probably the budget go-to option, but I'm going to go through the other ones now. Great Whale basically does the same thing when it comes into play, untap up to 7 lands. So, again, it's kind of overkill because you only need basically 3 lands untapping, but it does what it does. And then Palinchron, which is actually a combo piece kind of on its own for a lot of things as well. Not on my list technically, but it's in this one, so just go with it, okay? It's a 4/5 illusion with flying that costs 5 blue. When it enters the battlefield, untap up to 7 lands and pay 2 blue, return it to its owner's hand. So it works if you got mana doublers out there on its own, essentially. But basically, in this combination, you're untapping 7. So you've got extra mana going around. You just basically generate infinite mana easily with Deadeye Navigator, and then you can use it to blink other things to win the game from there. So that would be Deadeye Navigator, which comes with a ton of things in Commander. And basically, I probably should have mentioned this before I started. This is also kind of a guide to players who maybe don't know these combos in and out. So, if you see a player play this card, kind of be aware that there might be a combo coming around the corner. So, all right, so next up we've got Dualcaster Mage, which it can combo with a lot of things, actually. Dualcaster Mage is a 2/2 human wizard with flash, and it costs 1 red. When it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So basically, because it's a creature, it's very abusable because that is a fact, and because it doesn't say, like, if you cast it, you get this. No, it's just when it comes into play. So things like Ghostly Flicker can combo with it. It's an instant for a 2 and a blue, and it says, exile 2 target artifacts, creatures, enter lands you control, then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. So you cast this, you target 2 of your lands, you cast Dualcaster Mage before it resolves, you copy Ghostly Flicker. With the copy, you target Dualcaster Mage and let's say another one of your lands. That resolves, your Dualcaster Mage leaves, comes back into play, you then target your original Ghostly Flicker again, you keep doing this over and over and over again, you basically get infinite mana, infinite ETBs. You basically can just switch over that instead of getting infinite mana, you get an ETB from something else. Let's say you've got something in play that draws you a card when it comes into play. You can keep doing that over and over and over again to win. It even combos with just like an Essence Flux. An Essence Flux is an instant that costs a blue. It says exile target creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner's control. So basically just a Ghostly Flicker without that land option. So even just this, you target one of your creatures. Before it resolves, you cast your Dualcaster Mage, you get a copy of it, you blink your Dualcaster Mage with that copy. Again, you keep repeating it over and over and over again. Dualcaster Mage keeps targeting your original Essence Flux, and you get infinite ETBs. Now, this does nothing just on its own. You're just getting infinite times Dualcaster Mage comes back into play. But if you've got something like an Impact Tremors in play that costs its enchantment for 1 and a red, it says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, Impact Tremors deals 1 damage to each opponent. Then, essentially, you are getting value off of that ETB over and over and over again. You're pinging all your opponents out. So, Dualcaster Mage can really combo off with a lot of things. It can even combo off your opponent's spells if they happen to cast that Ghostly Flicker. Congratulations, you've got an infinite combo just because you had a Dualcaster Mage in your hand. So, yeah, Dualcaster Mage, very powerful. Next up, we've got Temur Sabretooth, which is a 4/3 cat that costs 2 green. It has pay 1 and a green. You may return another creature you control to its owner's hand. If you do, Temur Sabretooth gains indestructible until end of turn. So this is kind of similar to Deadeye Navigator, but different. Because, again, it's not blinking, it's bouncing. But it also does protect itself, which is great, because it gets indestructible once you bounce that creature back. So it's a combo piece that can protect itself, but does require a little more setup because you are getting that creature back to your hand and not just blinking it. So this combos with actually something like Zakama Primal Calamity. It's a 9/9 with a lot of things, but the thing that matters is that when it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, untap all lands you control. So basically, if you've got enough mana, which does require a lot of mana, but again, you're in green, so you can get there. You cast your Zakama, you untap your lands, you bounce your Zakama back to your hand, you recast your Zakama, you just get infinite mana from there, and then Zakama actually gives you an outlet to use that mana to win as well, or not to win, but to really set yourself up to win. And then also, I talked about this earlier with Deadeye, essentially, but if you've got a mana dork that can be enabled with haste, essentially, and you've got enough mana that it generates, you can just bounce it back to your hand and then recast it. So, Karametra's Acolyte is a 1/4 human druid that costs 3 and a green. It has add an amount of green to your mana pool equal to your devotion to green. So basically, you're tapping for enough mana to bounce it back to your hand, recast it, and then bounce it back to your hand and recast it. And if you've got extra mana, then you've got infinite mana. So, yeah, but again, you need a haste enabler or something on the field like a Rhythm of the Wild or something like that, basically, that allows you to keep doing this over and over and over again. Another one that requires a lot less setup than Temur Sabretooth, and is well known as a combo piece, is Kiki-jiki Mirrorbreaker. It's a 2/2 Goblin Shaman with haste that costs 2 red. It says, tap, create a token that's a copy of target non-legendary creature you control. That token gains haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. So basically, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be tapping Kiki-jiki to make a copy of something that untaps it. For the most part, that's what you're doing, generally. There are ways to combo without that, but let's just go through a couple now. Pestermite is a 2/1 fairy rogue with flash and flying. It costs 2 and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, you may tap or untap target permanent. So essentially, you make a copy of Pestermite. Pestermite comes into play, you untap Kiki-jiki. You tap Kiki-jiki to make a copy of Pestermite. So on and so forth. All those tokens have haste, so essentially you've got an infinite number of Pestermites, and then you just swing with them. Again, there's a ton of creatures that actually, when they enter, they untap something. So just look through that. I mean, we got another one like Corridor Monitor recently in Throne of Eldraine. It's a 1/4 construct that costs 1 to blue. When it enters the battlefield, untap target artifact or creature you control. So yeah, you're just getting infinite Corridor Monitors. It doesn't matter that it only has 1 power. If you've got infinite of any token that has 1 power, then you're going to be able to do infinite damage. I mean, and for all the rules lawyers out there, there's no such thing as infinite damage. Well, sure. Okay, fine. 10 trillion damage. That's enough, okay? Anyway, Combat Celebrant is another way to combo with this. It doesn't actually just untap when it comes into play like the other ones do, but it does still untap. It's a 4/1 human warrior that costs 2 and a red. If it hasn't been exerted this turn, when you exert it as it attacks, you may exert it as it attacks. When you do, untap all the creatures you control, and after this phase, the digital combat phase. So basically, you make a copy of Combat Celebrant, you attack with it, you're untapping to get that extra combat phase. You get Kiki-jiki, so you're not getting infinite tokens all at once. But as long as, let's say, someone doesn't have an indestructible creature that can keep blocking your Combat Celebrant, you're going to be able to take out everyone's creatures, through attrition with your infinitely created tokens individually. I'm saying this all in the weird ways, but basically it's another way to combo with it. Just know that, okay? Next up, we've got one of my personal favorites from my childhood, Intruder Alarm. It's an enchantment for 2 and a blue, and it says creatures don't untap to their controller's untap steps, but the important part is, whenever a creature comes into play, untap all creatures. So basically, if you've got a way to make a creature token, and then that thing untaps because of this, then we'll just go through examples, okay? Kazandu Tuskcaller is a human shaman, 1/1, that costs 1 and a green. It has level up for 1 and a green, and it's levels 2 through 5. Basically, all that matters is you just get 1 level counter on it, and then you can tap it to make a 3/3 elephant creature token. So basically, Intruder Alarm's in play. You tap your Kazandu Tuskcaller to make a 3/3 elephant. Intruder Alarm says, oh, let's untap everything. Okay, cool. So you untap it again, you tap it again, you tap it again, you untap. And you keep doing this over and over again. You've got an infinite army of elephant creature tokens. They don't have haste, so you might want to do this at the end step before your turn. Just, yeah, for like pseudo haste kind of. Anyways, people probably see this coming, but it's powerful. Krenko Mob Boss is another one that does this without any leveling up needed. It's a 3/3 Goblin Warrior that costs 2 red. It has tap, create X/1/1 red goblin creature tokens, where X is the number of goblins you control. So even if you just start off with just Krenko, you still have infinite goblins because you tap Krenko, you make 1 goblin. It untaps Krenko, you make 2 goblins, and so on and so forth. You keep going over and over again, infinite goblins. You can even use something like Presence of Gond, which is an aura that costs 2 and a green. It says enchant creature. Enchanted creature has tap, create a 1/1 green elf creature token. So basically, you can make any creature into this engine that just keeps giving you more and more creatures. There's other ways that you can combo with Intruder Alarm. I'm not going to really get into them now, but if you've got some kind of a mana sink that you can make creatures out of, and then you've got creatures that can tap for mana to make creatures out of those. I'm not explaining this in a great way, but look it up. There's plenty of ways to make to combo with Intruder Alarm. It's a very combo-centric card. Comboable card. I'm not talking great right now, sorry. Anyways, Rooftop Storm is another comboable card. It's an enchantment for 5 and a blue. It says you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for zombie spells you cast. Now, this one is kind of niche and specific, but it's funny. So I think it's a very combo-centric card. If you see it, there might be a combo coming. It might just be a friendly zombie deck that you're playing against, but there might be a combo coming along with it too. Gravecrawler is the one that's very much known to combo with this. It's a 2/1 zombie that costs a black, you can't block, and you may cast Gravecrawler from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. So if you've got another zombie in play, all you need to do is have a sacrifice outlet. You sacrifice your Gravecrawler. You can cast your Gravecrawler from your graveyard and bring it back. You can sacrifice it again, and so on and so forth. You keep going over and over and over again. If you got something like a Blood Arse in play, congratulations, you've drained everyone out. So that's how that works. Another one that actually does combo, but again, you need other things to help it out, is the Draxus Alchemist. It's a 2/2 zombie wizard that costs 2 to black. When it comes into play, if you control a blue permanent, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So basically, the Draxus Alchemist says, okay, cool. You have a blue permanent, obviously, because Rooftop Storm is in play. You cast your Draxus Alchemist for free. You can target itself to bounce it back to your hand. Now, again, that doesn't really do anything on its own, but if you've got like a Panharmonicon in play, it doubles that effect, and then you can just bounce everything your opponents control. So, non-land, but you can bounce everything. If you've got other things in play, again, that you can benefit off of ETBs or whatnot, then that can combo off, but basically, that's just kind of the setup. Another fun way that you can do this, actually, is with Arcane Adaptation. Arcane Adaptation is an enchantment that costs 2 and a blue, and it says, when it comes into play, choose a creature type, and then basically creatures that you control or anywhere, essentially, in your deck or in your hand, are that type. So basically, you just put this down, you say zombie, and then you can cast anything from your hand for free. So there are plenty of other ways to abuse that. There are plenty of creatures that can work with this and then go infinite, and just, yeah, lots of fun can be had. Next up, we've got Solemnity. Solemnity is an enchantment that costs 2 and a white, and it says players can't get counters, and counters can't be put on artifacts, creatures, enchantments, or lands. So, not allowing things to get counters can be a very comboable thing. Drolf's Messenger, or pretty much anything with Undying, can really combo with this, but Drolf's Messenger is probably the best. It's a 3/2 zombie, costs black. It enters the battlefield tapped, and when it comes into play, target opponent loses 2 life, and it's got Undying. So if you've got Solemnity in play, as well as a sacrifice outlet, Drolf's Messenger, you can sacrifice it, it'll come back, and because it had Undying, but it doesn't get that counter because Solemnity doesn't let it get that counter. It's going to drain an opponent, and then you can sack it again and keep going over and over again. Basically, you're just draining everyone out for 2 at a time. You win, okay? Drolf's Messenger, you win. The other way, the other kind of direction is Kitchen Finks with Persist. It's a 3/2 that costs 1 Selesnya. When it comes into play, you gain 2 life. So basically, you gain infinite life. Again, if you've got another way to benefit off of an ETB or an LTB, you can win from there too. Phyrexian Unlife is actually a pretty fun one to combo with it as well. It's an enchantment for 2 and a white and says you don't lose the game for having 0 less life, and as long as you have 0 less life, all damage is dealt to you as though its source had infect. So basically, as long as you have both of these in play, you really can't lose the game outside of, target player loses the game effects. But basically, you're not going to, even if you get down to 0 life and someone's hitting you, infect damage is going to be poison counters, will give you poison counters, and you can't get poison counters because Solemnity's in play. So, yeah, you're just basically just immortal, kind of. So, yeah, that's a fun combo. Next up, there's an extremely comboable card, and I believe this one's actually pretty expensive, but if you do see it, you need to know that someone's going to try to combo with it because it's very powerful. This is going to be Staff of Domination. It's an artifact that costs 3, and it has pay 1, untap Staff of Domination. Pay 2 and tap it, you gain 1 life. Pay 3 and tap it, untap target creature. Pay 4 and tap it, tap target creature. Pay 5 and tap it, draw a card. So this one is very much the, hey, if you've got a mana dork in play that can tap for a lot, just work it with Staff of Domination, and you can just do this an infinite number of times. I believe you need, 5 mana, essentially. You need a mana dork that can tap for 5 mana to be able to untap this and that dork, and then basically you can draw your entire deck. You can tap down all your opponent's creatures. You can gain infinite life. You can just win from there. So some potential ones that combo with that are Feyburrow Elder, which can tap for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. So if you've got all 5 colors, congratulations, you've got infinite mana of all colors. So that's one way to do it. Axebane Guardian, or any kind of other creature that basically says tap to add mana equal to the number of certain kinds of creatures you control. So Axebane Guardian is tap to add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool. X is the number of creatures with defender you control. So as long as you've got 5 defenders, congratulations again, infinite mana of all colors. Even colorless mana can just basically win you the game with this, essentially. Kynal, Chosen of Krufix, can tap to add colorless to your mana pool for each card that you've drawn this turn. So basically, as long as you've drawn 5 cards in the turn total, then there you go, infinite mana again, infinite draw. You'll find ways to win from there. Another artifact that is very comboable, and if you see it, you should probably look out, is Basalt Monolith. It's an artifact that costs 3. It doesn't untap during your untap step, and it taps for colorless, and pay 3, untap Basalt Monolith. Now, there are a ton of cards that combo with this, and there's actually a couple that are really expensive. I'm going to try to go through some of the more budget ones than one that's not so budget. And there's actually some recent ones, too. Zerta the Dawnwaker is a 3/3 elemental fox, and it's got abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities, cost 2 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost less than 1 mana. So basically, it makes Basalt Monolith's untap effect cost only 1. So you're tapping Basalt Monolith for 3, you're using 1 of that mana to untap it. You tap Basalt Monolith for 3, use 1 of that mana to untap it. You're essentially just generating infinite colorless mana. Another one that does that is Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. Not that exactly, but similar. It says, whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. So basically, it makes Basalt Monolith tap for 4 colors instead of 3. So basically, you tap for 4, use 3 of it to untap Basalt Monolith. You tap for 4, you're basically gaining 1 each time. You've got infinite colorless mana again. So again, these are 2 recent ones that combo with Basalt Monolith. It can be very, very powerful. Again, you can do a lot. Kinnan actually gives you kind of an outlet that you can use. You do need some colored mana to help out with that too, but there are ways to win from there. Obviously, another one that you need other cards to set it up and to actually win from there, but it can just deck you. Mesmeric Orb is an artifact that costs 2 and says whenever a permanent becomes untapped, that permanent's controller puts the top card of their library into their graveyard. Yeah, you can just use Basalt Monolith to basically infinitely tap and untap itself. So you tap it for 3, you pay 3 to untap it, but Mesmeric Orb triggers, and then you basically mill yourself for 1. Now, there are certain decks that, obviously you'd want to build your deck around that. You want to actually mill yourself. You wouldn't just do this for fun. But yeah, there are plenty of cards, actually, and we'll get to that in the next one, that win you the game when you basically can't draw another card. So here we go. This one actually is a competitive combo card, and might be the most competitive combo card at this point, now that Flash Hulk has been banned. But it's Demonic Consultation. It's an instant for a black, and I'm sorry I don't have the actual text in front of the Oracle text in front of it, so I'm going to be reading the old text, so please forgive me. It says, name a card, remove the top 6 cards of your library from the game, and reveal the next card to all players. If it is the name card, put it into your hand. If not, remove that card from the game and continue revealing it from the top of your library and removing it from the game until the name card appears. Basically, you name a card. You are going to name a card that you don't actually have in your deck. So you name a card, and then you keep revealing cards at the top of your library. You're never going to reveal that card. So you're going to deck yourself. And again, in competitive meta and other metas too, there are ways to abuse that and to actually just win from there. And that's going to be something like a Laboratory Maniac, which is a 2/2 human wizard that costs 2 and a blue, and says if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. So if you've got this in play and you've got a way to draw a card, congratulations, you win the game. And again, Demonic Consultation is very powerful because, again, it just costs a black. It just costs a black. And it's an instant speed, too. Jace Wielder of Mysteries is another one. It's a Planeswalker that has 4 loyalty. That doesn't really matter too much. It says if you would draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. And it gives you a way to actually draw that card. It says its +1 is target player puts the top 2 cards of their library to their graveyard, draw a card. So basically, you got this in play. Demonic Consultation. You mill yourself completely, and then you just draw that card with that loyalty ability, and then you win. Thassa's Oracle is probably the most powerful one. In fact, I think EDH players could probably confirm that it is the most powerful one to combo with this, and it basically kind of has that same effect. We'll go through it real quick. It says, when it enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is your devotion of blue. Put up to one of those on top of your library, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. So basically, you just need to play Demonic Consultation and get Thassa's Oracle's ETB, and then you win. So again, I'm not a competitive player. I couldn't tell you why this one specifically is the most powerful version and why it's hard to deal with, but it is. Okay, let's just believe the competitive players on that one. So basically, yeah, this is not an exhaustive list. There are plenty of other cards that I'm sure I missed that could be included in this best combo card list. I'm just trying to include ones, again, that combo with a variety of things. And then if you see it, you should probably be wary that player that played it might be trying to combo off. So you might need to deal with that one if you can. Okay? But yeah, let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. Let me know what combo cards that you thought I should have included, which ones I missed. So yeah, let me know. Anyways, thanks again and have a good one. And make sure you're following us on social media for more updates and sneak peeks on future episodes. Again, a huge thank you to my patrons who help make this show possible. I truly couldn't do any of this without your support. If you want to support this channel directly, consider becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, including being able to vote on future commanders for deck techs. There are even tiers where you get your own personalized deck tech dedicated to you. You can check out all the Patreon tiers and rewards at patreon.com/commandersquarters. If you haven't already, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Here at the Commander's Quarters, we're all about budget commander. So while you're at it, go ahead and check out some of our other types of episodes. And with that, I'm out of here. Thanks again and have a good one.